Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. It is your girl, Miss Honey, here with a video. Normally I come in around this time. Well, not normally, but I would normally today. I would have come in with Real Housewives of Atlanta recap, but y'all know that show, one, they're not gonna have a reunion right now because everything that's going on in the world out here, and so they playing like a best moments from last episode type thing, no real episode. So I'm here to talk about the Tiger King because I watched the Tiger King yesterday. I might have watched it Friday. Because yesterday I was all day I was doing some food prep work. So it must have been Friday I watched it. And I have been avoiding all of the recaps for it or the reviews for it because it's all out there on Twitter. It's everything, everybody's talking about it because it is the next salacious story. Like, it's got all the good components in it. It's got, homosexuality. It's got a type of polygamy. It's got methamphetamines, alcohol, obviously. Alcohol is never, ever late to the party. It is always on the invite list, right? Murder, deceit, grifting, con artists, federal agents, and tigers. So, hopefully I can pull up all the names in my head. But, okay, so the Tiger King is basically this individual. His name was Joseph Maldonado, but he went by Joe Exotica. And at the point that we see this individual, he is nothing like who he was many years ago. We meet him in his full regalia, as the Tiger King. But he really is this young man who tragically, when he told his parents that he was gay as a very, very young man, I think in, 18, 19, 20-ish maybe. And his daddy said, shake my hand in front of his mama and shake my hand and promise me, this a contract, okay? Promise me you won't come to my funeral, okay? And so that devastated him. He took his car one day and ran it off a bridge into the water, where he fractured his back, his clavicle, his hip. That's why you see him throughout the whole thing. He got a little cane he walked with, a little arm cane and a knee brace, to support him. That was a part of his accident. All right. So you see quite a few people with missing arms, missing legs, missing limbs, different kinds of physical abnormalities type situation. It ain't all from tigers, okay? Because Joe himself came into this picture fractured and broken, baby, and the tiger didn't have nothing to do with it. But nonetheless, he done met up with a man, and the man had some baby tigers. In the same story, he told about how this man found him on the street and gave him a way out after he had healed himself, and did all his physical therapy and came out of that. He met a man, same way he meet men, okay? See a young boy on the street, you see need and desperation in his eyes, and you think to yourself, hey, I could capitalize off of this. Let me see what I can get from this, right? So this man had tigers, baby tigers, right? And so he decided this is what he wanted to do. He loved the tigers. He said the tigers don't judge you. The tigers don't judge you. The tigers don't have a crossword to say. They just want to love you. Well, the tigers know they got to eat. Now, whether that's you or the food you feed them, they really do have a basic animal instinct, which is to eat. To survive, right? Okay, so, but anyway, yeah. Just like humans, right? So, then there's another character here, Carol Lampkin. I think that's what her name is. Now, she is supposed to be on the conservationist side. She has a tiger rescue place where they get these tigers from these circuses and things like this, and you know, take care of them until they go on off to be with the Lord. You know, to run in the heavenly rainforests and things. So he did an internet show, because by this time he's come through his 20s and his 30s and his 40s. When we get to see him, he's probably early 40s, maybe mid 40s, maybe, you know, somewhere there about in that range. And he's met up with a guy who is a known producer. He's produced a lot of shows. A lot of the shows that he's produced are things like, you know, Springer and, you know, stuff like that. You know, he's done real shows too, and movies, you know, all of that. But this was right at that moment, at that turn. The internet was taking off real good, and reality shows was coming about. Now, it wasn't these reality shows you see now. It was stuff like Rock of Love. Okay, Flavor of Love. What's the two boys? They was brothers. One of them went on to be with the Lord. The Stallion one. Anyway, they, you know, this was the start of it. The Bachelor, the Survivor, and Big Brother. It was at that beginning stages. You know, these shows have been on 10. You know, this was 10 years ago, 12, 15 years ago, some of them, you know. So this guy, being in the industry, he saw potential. So at the time, Joe had a internet show that he did every day at 6 o'clock. Now, when they first showed Joe, it seemed like here's a man that really loves animals, right? He also seemed like a hard worker. You see him even with that cane and that knee brace, moving around his compound and everything, and telling people what to do and making sure the animals fed and you know, seemed like he got his staff. They know what to do, and you know, he taking care of the lions and doing shows, having people come in and do shows, you know, tiger shows and stuff like that, you know. And, you know, he's also doing an internet show every day at 6 o'clock. Now, this may have been the start of YouTube. Maybe not the start of YouTube. YouTube been around a long time, but this is the kind of platform he was doing it on, you know, like, it seemed like public broadcasting to me, but again, it was an internet show. So, that's what it looked like, public broadcasting. And so this guy, this guy who had worked in the industry previously, he came in and said, hey, you know, you got something here. Why don't you let me help you? So, or why don't you let me do a reality show and film you, right? And so Joe Exotica said, yeah, you can do that, but you got to get my internet show off the ground. I don't mind you filming me and everything and putting on reality TV. That's great. But I need you to really help me get this internet thing off the ground, right? Well, through that internet thing, that's how Carol Lampkin came to know who Joe was. And she felt like the things that Joe was doing with his animals, with his tigers, was, it wasn't right. And, you know, when they showed her coming on, and one of the producers that was, you know, driving up after she agreed to show them around and interview with them, when he saw her from the car, he said in his mic, oh, look at her. She's dressed perfectly. I was like, ooh. And then they showed her. She had on now everything she wear got a little tiger print in it somehow. She got to have a little tiger print on it sometime. She said she always loved animals, even as a child. She just always wanted, but she was in love with cats, right? Everything in her house, cat. Now she allergic to cats. We just gonna just say that because that go a long way to tell you just how bad-ish crazy all of these people are. Like, for real, psychotic. Some of them are homicidal. Some of them are just flat out crooks. We got pickpockets, we got burglars, we got murderers, we got the whole thing. Whatever you need, we got it. But she had on it had a little pink in it. You know, pink always supposed to be innocent and sweet, you know. And it had little tiger print. It mixed in with the pink and the swirl, and it was kind of flowy, butterfly-y, like ethereal. Now, she floats in and out of this ethereal, but we're going to get in on that. So the man said he was going to do the show for him, but meanwhile, what he was banking all of his life savings on was the fact that this reality show was going to be killer. Because he had been watching Joe Exotica for a while, and he saw how kind of electrifying he was. Okay, meanwhile, Joe Exotica done went out and did what somebody did with him and picked the man up. And they supposed to be together. Now they both try to, you know, they dress kind of dude-ish, kind of Billy-ish. You know what I mean by Billy, right? And so they dress kind of dude-ish, kind of Billy-ish, and hats. You know, they love them trucker hats, real tight down on their head, and guns and beards and chest hair and. You know, like I said, guns on the hip and you know, one of them little tool belt type thing where you can put your knife on one side and your gun on the other side. Just everything to make you look so masculine, but you not really, because y'all like each other like that. Like when they start talking, like you can hear it. You can hear it. Doesn't matter what the image say. When you hear it come out of them, it is. Now, the one dude, the first dude he married two men at the same time, which at that time, I don't even know if marriage was legal in Oklahoma. Gay marriage was legal in Oklahoma, but I'm pretty sure there's nowhere that polygamy is okay. Even for the Mormons and stuff, I think they have to hide it. You know what I mean? I think they have to kind of hide it. You know what I'm saying? They kind of have to mask it in a way. They can't just be right out like, I'm a polygamist. Or I may be wrong. Maybe polygamy is perfectly fine in some of these states. Utah, maybe. I don't know. Anywho, so now one of the first things I noticed significant is that there is absolutely no black people except for one. And they had to fly him in. That was Shaquille O'Neal that was in this documentary out. And this was like 7 episodes. 7 episodes to roll this story out. It was very well told, though. So let's move forward. So the guy started filming. So some of that is what we're seeing is him moving around the camp, all of that. And he's talking about how he goes and he gets people who are just out of jail and people who nobody wants. Society is thrown away. And he brings them in. He teaches them a skill, you know, tiger keeping, zookeeper, you know, whatever he need them to do. They work. He give them a place to stay and food. And I think $140, $180, I don't know, something dollars a week. It don't even matter if it's $200. It still ain't enough for 12-hour, 18-hour, 15-hour days. Like, nah. So Joe is a part of this whole community. There's a whole community. A dude, I can't say his first name, but his last name is Antelli, something like that. And then there's Stark. Like I said, it's a whole community of people who love exotic animals. It's a snake community, just like it's a dog community. The dog community is cutthroat too now. Y'all best cool believe, okay? People who raise chickens, you know, prize chickens, ornamental hens. It's a whole society out about that. Look it up. It's a spider community, a snake community. It's a fish community. These people are serious about these animals, okay? Serious. It ain't just the dogs and the cats and stuff you see at your friend's house when you go have tea, when you go to visit. No, ma'am. It's people with whole buildings they have built on their property dedicated to animals. And they making money from it. They profiting from it. The snake people, a lot of them do venom. Sell that venom to make anti-venom. Okay. And same thing with the tiger community. The money in the tiger community is the babies. People love the babies, right? They love cubs, right? Yeah, they like a big, majestic lion like Mufasa with all the mane and everything, but they like them cubs. See, them cubs are not threatening. The cubs are cute and they cuddly. And we got tons of stuffed animals all over the place. I don't care whether you go to SeaWorld or Disneyland. You can get stuffed animals look just like, the animal out in the wild. Kids love that kind of stuff. Well, Joe Exotica, really, there was nothing special about him without a tiger, in my opinion. Without a tiger, without the taking on the mantra of Tiger King, without building his whole life and business around tigers, he would have just been a regular gay redneck. Like, seriously, like, outside of that, there was nothing special about him. He had a bum leg, and he was really, really, really holding on to youth. You're going to see a lot of men in this whole series that wear hats, bandanas. Again, I'm referencing Rock of Love, because later on we're going to talk about Jeff Lowe, the biggest crook of them all. He always got a bandana and a hat on. They got him in a what you call them photos you take in the police station. They got him in one of them lineup photos, baby, and a mug shot, and he bald as the newborn baby, child. Bald as the newborn baby. But he get wearing that bandana. He doing the Rock of Love, because the guy from Rock of Love. They say he bald as a newborn baby too, a newborn baby's bottom. They say that bandana come with that hair, but I don't know. That's allegedly. But let's move forward. So my greater point here is that you find that there are some people that use these tigers to make money. And that's all they are, is a commodity, a product, to generate revenue. That's Stark. And then you find people like the Antelli guy and Joe Exotica and even Jeff Lowe. And I'm going to throw Carol Lampkin in, using the tigers as a attention getter. Okay? If you see a man with dry, brittle, blonde hair that he got cut into a mullet with a trucker cap on, and he got 6 earrings in this ear, 2 or 3 earrings in his eyebrow, earrings in his, in his other ear. He got rings all over his finger. He dressed like a cowboy. I mean, he was slim as a whistle, and he got a bum leg, and he talked country gay. You know what I'm saying? Not like regular country, but country gay. Anyway, so and they use this as a way to get people to look at them, get people to approach them, get people to spend time with them, get people to view them as knowledgeable, as exotic, as youthful, as special. Everybody but that Stark guy. I believe that Stark guy really, really, really was in it for the money. I don't think he gave an ish about tigers or animals. I think he did it for the money. This was a business for him. Anyway, Joe done built this whole compound. Like, what he put together was, it was pretty impressive. But the thing about it is, he had like 1 or 2 tigers, it seemed like to me, that had the mane like Mufasa. He had some bears and some other exotic animals, but they wasn't the draw. The draw was the babies, the cubs, and they would do these picture taking where a person would walk down with a cub and hold it to your face, and they would take a picture, and they would go to the next person, and I was confused. Because I was like, well, what is he getting? Like $5,000 a day, maybe? I mean, the tiger's gonna get big. Like, I couldn't see the big picture. And I guess that's why I wasn't in the tiger business. But again, you didn't see no black people except for the one they flew in. But we're gonna talk about it. So anywho, but listen, I think I must have blacked out when they said it. I think they said you paying $329 or $339 to get in. I'm sure I was wrong about that. I'm sure he said $33. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he said you pay $39.99 per person to get in. I'm sure about that. I feel like in my mind, just to keep my mind sane and connected, you know what I'm saying, with the here and now. Because it was the dude who had been there the day before with him and his girlfriend, and he came back the next day with him and his girlfriend. It could not have been $300 and something, dude. It could not have been. It could not have been. That means you spent $1,200. You spent $1,200. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to talk about white privilege in a minute. Hold your horses. Okay, so listen. So Carol Lankin done found Joe Exotica online, and she has started kind of, talking about it, buzzing about it. We got to do something about this. We got to get rid of this guy. We got to get rid of this whole operation and this type of thing, because this is no good for the animals. They breed these animals and they're not supposed to be in captivity like this. It's not right, yada, yada, yada. So Joe Exotica started to get mad, and that's why he wanted to produce a guy to help him, really, because he really wanted to go hard at Carol. Now, game recognized game. I do believe she was shady and shifting. The only thing she really wasn't doing was, it didn't look like she was breeding. If that's what's going on, she didn't allow them to show it. And believe you me, she was a woman, okay, that enjoyed being in charge. We're going to talk about it. So he done started to go after Carol Lampkin and start to, they show him over and over again, mentioning her name over and over again in the video. Y'all know, y'all seeing this now out there where people get almost obsessed. Okay. And he just started relentlessly mentioning her name. Now at this time, it was just him mentioning her name, like showing that she was getting up under his skin. Okay, so let's talk about Carol Lankin. Like I said, she was dressed perfectly. Now, she got this ranch, and she's coming, this tiger ranch, and she's coming across like she is just this really, really sweet, demure type individual. Like I said, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up anyway when the producer pulled up and said, oh, she's dressed perfectly. I said, And she's there with her husband, and he says something about something, and she says, you're wonderful. And she just hauls off and hugs him. I was like, okay, girl. So you trying to come off kind of holistic, kind of spiritual, kind of in touch, like in tune, like Zen, right? Okay, I see what you're saying, but let's move forward with it. Now, let me tell you something. Let me just say this, okay? What a lot of Caucasian women, I'm not saying all. I'm saying what a lot of Caucasian women specialize in is being victimish. And that can go all the way from being victim, crying victim, all the way down to, just playing kind of flighty and innocent and fragile and, you know what I'm saying? She's giving all of this. Now, the man she with looked kind of square. We learned a little bit about how she married him and everything. Now, this was after her first husband. Oh, yes, she was. Oh, no. Her second husband. Her first husband, she had a fight with. That's all we know about him, really. And she was walking down the street being, and her second husband was driving by. And he said, get in the truck. And she said no. And then he swooped back around again, which by this time is aggressive behavior. But I suspect she's the bait, and she set the trap, and he fell in it, right? Damsel walking on the side of the road, crying, distraught. Like, he needed to talk and get his mind off some things. So he had a gun on the seat by the time he pulled back the second time and told her to get in the car. And she could hold the gun on him. He just wanted to get some stuff off his chest and talk to her. Now, you got a whole wife and family back at home. Yeah, he was married too. And they drove around talking, and she held a gun on him. I was like, girl. Okay. They ended up spending the night together. Well, duh, she was walking the street. She was street walking, right? Like, yeah, she did get in the car with a complete stranger, and there was a gun involved. Like, yeah, of course they slept together. Like, everything was, all the components was there. Only thing he didn't have, as far as we know, is a dead body in the bag. Like, whatever. So they done picked up, and she done divorced the husband, and I'm assuming he divorced his wife, left his wife, all of that. He told his wife about the woman, found out about her, and she was all distraught. Anyway, the man gone. We don't know where the man is. The man was worth anywhere from what people speculated, anywhere between $5 million and $20 million. Okay. Evidently he did very well for himself. He was very unassuming. But something happened to that man in that marriage. Something happened to that man in that marriage that terrified him, that moved his feet to action. Because his friends, and yea, I say even his family, said that he was moving kind of funny. He was moving kind of skittish, right? His good friend, he told him, he took the secretary a cease and desist order and a will, if I'm not mistaken. No, a cease and desist order and instructions of what to do with it if he were to disappear. When he wrote his will out, on his will, it said, upon my disappearance. Okay, it didn't say upon my death. Most people say upon my death, but it didn't say upon my death. It said upon my disappearance. Okay, and so he did all this moving around, this kind of skittish moving around. Most of y'all from the South, y'all know what skittish is. Skittish is, just kind of nervously, ducking and sticking and moving, like you. Any little sound, like you might, bust out, right? Like break out running, like you got to have trigger on it. Like, what was that noise, right? Skittish, right? Okay, now he wanted to move down to Costa Rica. Okay, because down there the laws against tiger wrangling and breeding and all that stuff and buying and selling wasn't as strict. Plus, he had some women down there he liked to see. You know what I'm saying? He had somebody down there he liked too. He liked better. Okay, what a man will do to you, what a man will do to his main woman, he gonna do to you. And what he did to his main woman and you, he gonna do to this next woman. Like, he's gonna do it. And so, anyway, she didn't want to do that. She wanted to stay where she was and do some things. Now, at this time, she wasn't the Carol that we see now. She was younger. She was thinner, and she was kind of co-signing the whole sell cats and breeding cats, and we breed them. As soon as the cubs come, we separate them from the mother right away, so they can get used to being around humans and not around tigers and all this stuff. She did all these videos when her husband was together, because he was all about breeding them. Like cattle and selling them. You know what I'm saying? This was big money. Again, they say the man was a millionaire. Well, Joe Exotica at one point was probably a millionaire. For sure, and Telly was in the millions. Okay. And Stark had his business and was helping other people start a business, and he was buying and selling tigers between all of them. All of them was buying and selling tigers between each other, between zoos, the whole works, the whole nine. Like, this is a $1 billion business. The buying and selling of exotic animals, the breeding, the buying, the selling of exotic animals is big business, right? This big business. I mean, they look like regular old redneck meth heads, but they done found a niche. Unfortunately, it's at the cost of the flesh and the lives and the happiness of tigers. It's more tigers in captivity now than it is in the wild. Okay. All right. Message. Okay. So anyway, the man disappeared. the day before he was supposed to go, or the day he was supposed to go to Costa Rica and stay. Now, he done set everything in order. He done set everything in order in preparation to get going. The day he was supposed to leave, nobody heard from him. He did know how to fly a plane, but it's no record of him getting on a plane. They found his van at the airport, but it had all his information in it. Why would you leave all your information if you gone? Now, people say he had enough money. Maybe he disappeared and decided to go on. And some people feel like, especially a lot of Caucasians, they kind of kamikaze with life. You know what I'm saying? If I made it once, I'll make it again. Let her have it. Let her burn to the ground. But whatever it was she was saying to him around their house, whatever it was that set his wheels in motion, terrified him. And people think she killed him and fed him to the lions. And Joe Exotica got a hold of this, and he was talking about this. Now, this was before people would shut you down and block you and dismantle your channel. And this was before all that. This was back before we realized we had a problem with bullying and stalking and terrorizing on the internet. This was before this. So, he was able to say whatever it is he wanted to say about the woman. And by this time, he had a bee in his bonnet. And he did have blow-up dolls. He was putting penises in them. He was threatening to send the lady snakes for her birthday. He was talking about this whole husband situation. And he said that a tiger's acid in a tiger's stomach is so potent that they can eat a bone, shoulder, skull, anything. This is what the man said. Now, maybe not a skull. I don't know. It seemed kind of bulbous. But they could do all that and nothing else come out. Like, break it all down. Like, they guts break it all down. I can believe that. I can believe that. I mean, you think about snakes that eat antelope. I mean, they eat the antlers and all. And the antlers, I believe, is just all calcium, all bone. Like, I mean, they breaking it all down. It ain't like an antler pop out the other side. Like, if anything, it's a mash of hair and teeth and some bone that didn't break down. Like, it ain't no antler. It ain't no skull, no antelope skull, right? So, that's the washing. Okay, but anyway, so he was talking about all of this, and this was getting under her skin. Okay, and he would dish it out. He would return it, but he was being very, very threatening. He would never be able to get away with some of the things. I mean, like I said, they had guns all over the compound. He was afraid that she was going to come in and take his animals. And he said if she did, it'd be another, a small Waco, and the sheriff was talking about how much anxiety he had about Joe Exotica even being in his county, because it was always something jumping off with him. Like when he said the small Waco thing, and he said this like on regional TV. It was a problem. But anyway, like I said, he more than did his fair share of threatening her. She was stuck in his crawl. He never let us forget it. He never let her forget it. At the same time, she had this new husband. Now, she done married. The other husband she done had declared legally dead. And I'm going to say this now. She talked to the producer that was interviewing her said, did you ever have a memorial or anything? Because his family was like, she gave them some money, but it was the bare minimum. It was well below what he wanted to leave them. She started selling off property the minute he was found disappeared. By the time she had him pronounced legally dead, she had to wait 5 years before she could pronounce him legally dead and claim the money. But in the meantime, she sold a whole bunch of stuff off. She did what she had to do. That producer asked if she ever had a memorial, because the family say they never did a memorial or anything for the man. Like, she was just like the whole family, his daughters and everything didn't exist. And so, looking at the wife, this was an older man. Looking at the daughters, this was an older man. Like, I don't know how old he would have been at that time, but at the time we seeing these daughters look 50, 55, 50. You know what I'm saying? And not like a melanated 55, 50. They look, you know, non-melanated 55, 60. You know, it's different. And so, so the producer asked her, did she have a memory? And she said, well, you know what? When I got the letter in the mail, I took a deep breath and I looked out the window. And when I came to, it was dark outside. I guess that was my own kind of memorial. Like, I just couldn't believe it was all happening. Now, mind you, through the whole documentary, she kind of talks in this sort of elevated tone. But when she at her most sinister, she drops it down like 2 octaves. It's a little bit tenorish. It's a little alto tenorish. And that's where her evil lies. That's where her evil lies. She's a whisperer. She's a whisperer. She's a different kind of manipulator. She moves in a way that is very suggestive. It seems like your idea, but it was all along hers. Okay? All right. And this man that she married to, now they show all kinds of pictures where they dress like tigers and he dressed like a tiger and on all 4. I said to myself, that's how y'all have sex. Dollars to donuts. He has to wear tiger ears. Okay. He has to wear tiger ears. He probably has to wear like tiger feet, like slip on tiger feet and like tiger paws and probably tiger underwear. Like that's probably the only way she will allow him to do it is if he dressed up like a tiger. I mean, this guy, we don't know a lot about him. We don't know a lot about his background. He's obviously a smart man. He's obviously a learned man. I think when he met this woman, she was the woman of his dreams. And I'm sure he probably really thought that it was his idea to marry her. Okay. But something tells me he's in real deep. Real deep with this lady. Because she ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something there. Anyway, Joe Exotica is on the other side. I am so sorry, you guys. That is my washer. Joe Exotica is on the other side. He has gone above and beyond. Meanwhile, he is breeding and breeding and breeding and breeding and breeding. He has met one man and married. He has met the next man and married them both. They supposed to be a triigamy. I don't know. They got it all on video. They dressed all in pink. Come to find out, neither of the men were gay. Both of them had drug issues. One was marijuana. I'm talking about a lot of marijuana. You know, you got to be doing some stuff that you absolutely don't want to be present for, to be smoking that kind of marijuana. And meth. Okay? The one with no teeth, I think his name was Corey. He done end up getting the secretary pregnant and running off with her and claiming he really wasn't gay, but you had a tattoo on your body. He's like, Joe Exotica bought me 4 or 5 trucks. I was like, that made you put a tattoo on your body right above your belly button and say you property exclusively belongs to Joe Exotica? Then you go get the tattoo covered up when Joe on trial for everything, and you don't even cover it up all the way. I think he might be a little bit gay. The other guy he was married to, Travis, he was a young guy, silly, no responsibilities, giving guns and drugs and allowed to run the property, playing pranks and terrifying. He was playing a joke on the guy. He walked up with the gun and the guy told him, don't walk up on me with this gun. This was Joe's campaign manager because Joe ran for president first. That was a failure. And he decided to run for governor of the county that they was in Oklahoma. Sitting there, the campaign manager, he walk up with a gun. Don't point a gun at me. The gun ain't loaded. This is a such and such gun. It don't even carry bullets, and put it to his head and pulled the trigger and a bullet was in it. Killed himself right there in front of the man. They had it on video. The guy who shot himself was underneath the camera. The guy he was talking to, the campaign manager, was sitting at the desk, and that's where the camera was facing the desk. And the minute that gun went off, the camera didn't have no audio, but you see his hands go up to his mouth. And he was just shocked for a minute. He was just stunned. Like, he wasn't sure. Like, he's dazed and confused. First of all, a gun has gone off. So that's stunning enough. But then the guy played jokes. The guy played tricks. So then his mind said, oh my gosh, he just shot himself, and he's stunned. But at the same time, he's like, no, this might be a trick. This has got to be a trick. Please, 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 God, let this be a trick. Like, you see all of this on this dude's face in this camera without sound. Like, it was riveting, right? Then you see him get up. He called a guy, get up, and then you see him run out the door. Like, he knew from jump what this guy had done. But that's how his mind kind of, I guess, protected him in the situation. Runs out, gets the police. Like, it's this big thing. So maybe 21 days after Joe buries Travis in this huge spectacle. Again, I don't even know if they were legally married. Like, I'm not even sure if gay marriage was legal at that time. But definitely in the state of Oklahoma was polygamy. Like, gay marriage and you marry more than one man. Like, I don't know. Anyway, Travis' mom looked like she was a meth head. She wasn't included in on the funeral. He did bring her there, but then 21 days later, he invited her to his wedding. And she came out probably because he was giving her money. Like, clearly she was a meth head too. And she took a picture with him and the new husband. And she never heard from Joe Exotica again. Joe did an article and said, if his mom accepts it, he knows that it's right. Mm-hmm. So meanwhile, Joe Exotica done met this dude called Jeff Lowe. And Jeff Lowe was into tigers too. He wasn't into tigers on the scale that Joe Exotica was. He was into tigers on the scale that he used tigers to make himself seem more youthful, more appealing to women. He would be in Las Vegas and he would throw these parties, these sweet parties, and he would bring the baby cubs in suitcases. And then he would have women up there and drugs and drinking and the tigers, the little baby tigers. And so this was his thing. This was his shtick, right? Well, he then came to befriend Joe and help him out, with everything that's going on. Because by this time, Carol done took him to court and won a judgment. I think she won $1 million judgment. It might have been hundreds of thousands, but I think it was like $1 million judgment. Like I said, he shot a blow-up doll on the internet show. Like, it's no getting around the fact that he stalked, bullied, and harassed her. I think she did the same thing with him, but I think it was in such a professional manner. Again, that's her whole shtick, is coming off like really innocent and ethereal. Plus, she had this husband who was really smart but entranced, and he was helping her. He was really doing all of the heavy lifting, dealing with the lawyers and the press and all of that. But Joe Exotica really exposed Carol Lampkin. He exposed that she had a major business going on too, where she had thousands and thousands of volunteers who worked for free for 12 to 15 hours a day, but they were considered to be in a program. Like, if you was a red shirt, you was lower level, and then you went to yellow shirt, and then blue shirt, and then yellow shirt, and then orange shirt, and then blue shirt was you like a master zookeeper. And you got these work hours. People love animals. People love especially exotic animals. And so a lot of people did this work and they considered it volunteer work. So she had a ton of staff, but they were all free labor. Meanwhile, she's charging premium for people to come and view her park. Like, people were saying, well, maybe it was going to conservationists. Maybe I didn't see it. I saw her doing a lot of lobbying. I didn't see her showing exactly how she has propagated the species or stopped, or how numbers are down. Like, it wasn't that type of conversation with her. Anyway, she won this court case. And so Jeff Lowe was coming in right at this time where he was trying to really work with Carol to pay her. First, he was like, you can come get it over my dead body. A lot of stuff that she wanted. She sent him a list of things that she wanted. Tigers was amongst that, but property, his bed. She went after his mama and his daddy because turns out nothing was in his name. It was all in his mama's name or his daddy's name. His mama and daddy was so much older. I mean, you have to remember around this time, Joe was like 50, 51, 52. Like, so his parents was up there in age, and he would just have them sign the paper. And basically, a lot of his stuff was in his name. And he said out his own mouth, ain't none of this stuff in my name. What you think, I'm stupid? Right. So then all the stuff she would say she would want on the list, if he had it there on the property, he would shoot it up or set it on fire and be like, come get it. Well, when Jeff Lowe came into the picture, he had just started feeling like he wanted to work with her because there was no way around it. Like, no matter what stunt he pulled, he still had to pay her. And he was feeling a lot of pressure from that. So Jeff Lowe comes in, assesses the situation, and he makes this kind of cowboy move. And while Joe Exotica is on the phone trying to talk to Carol, he chimes in on the speakerphone. And cusses her out and cusses her husband out and shoots with the bird, basically, and F you and all of this. You can shove it up your bloom. And Joe Exotica looked at that like, okay, you see where I'm coming from. You think this bull crap too, right? Okay, see a conning a con. See, Joe Exotica see Carol for who she really is, because family no family. But at the same time, you so busy focusing on this, you don't see how Jeff Lowe is slipping in and putting his hand in your back pocket, sir. Okay. He got your ID, got all your credit cards, any cash you had in your pocket, your gum, you know what I'm saying? Like your Tic Tacs, your car keys. Okay. He got your insurance card, health and auto. Like, the dude is grifting you for everything you got, but he's coming across like, I got you. We're going to handle this, and I'm going to show you how you going to handle this. Well, he signs the zoo over to Jeff Lowe. Now, you done spend all this time acting like you love tigers. Turns out you just love the cubs, because the cubs, you make millions of dollars on photos and people coming to see the cubs. You breeding the cubs out. When they get a certain age, they all do it. They said when they get a certain age and they not at that money making age anymore, they killing them. And this is what is happening. This is what happened on Jeff Exotica land. For whatever reason, he called it euthanasia or whatever. But like I said, ain't nothing a problem till it becomes a problem. They wanted to wrap him up on this case where he supposedly hired this hitman to kill Carol, which I believe he did, in my opinion. But in order to solidify it, to make it more solid, they used the killing of these animals. Now, all the time this is going on, they warring back and forth over the internet and the news is there and interviewing Carol and interviewing him and doing, like the morning show and all that stuff. They know what's going on. But it's not a big deal, because it's not like there's the hurting of a white male, a white human male. It's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you was doing this with the children or the elderly, or people that are melanated, like, no one cares. Animals, no one cares. Until it becomes a problem, right? Okay, so like I said, he done signed this whole camp over. He think he got a friend. He think he know this dude. He don't know this dude. This dude is running a scam. The dude, first thing he do is bring a homeless man that was a known drug addict and had been in and out of jail, was a ex-con. Bring him to be the floor manager of the zoo. Well, how much could you care about the zoo? You don't hire an expert. Joe is your expert on the zoo, but this man was supposed to be handyman and all of that. But you got somebody there that's gonna keep an eye on everybody that's working there for Joe. Now, in the span of all of this, Joe got several people. He got a main zookeeper. This guy don't have no legs. He had a skydiving accident, landed on both of his feet and shattered his back, his spine, his hips, all of that. Ended up getting his legs amputated. Seemed like kind of rock and roll type of dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, then he had a couple other people. He had a young lady there who seems like she might like other young ladies. Now, she reached her hand in a tiger cage and the tiger ripped the skin off her bone. Now, people say he ripped her arm off, but he did rip her arm off. And she said this out of her own mouth. She said, I still had my hand, but it was going to be so long to rebuild her arm and her hand that she opted to have it amputated so she can get back to work. So she said 3 days after she had her arm amputated, she was back at the zoo. It's people out there that can woo you and sway you till you would do anything. Till you would do anything. Because technically, this chick should have been the one to take the zoo. She should have been the one to sue Joe. She should have been the one to take everything. She should have been the one to shut him down. But not only was she loyal to him, but she was loyal to the animal. She loved them. She loved them. Okay? You find people who've been out here in this world and they've been floating. They find something to love that loves them back unconditionally. They'll do anything for that thing. And these people, the people that took care of the animals, even though they were living in squalor in trailers on his property, they were barely paid their worth. They were fed spoiled, maybe it wasn't spoiled, expired meat. The same meat they go for the tigers, but part of their payment, they could dig through the Walmart meat. They go get meat from Walmart to feed the tigers. Because it take about $30,000, I think he said. $3,000 a day? $30,000 a month? Something like that. It's a lot of money to feed tigers. That's why he was also killing them off, some of them, because, or selling them because it is cheaper to get rid of them. Okay? All of them was doing it. All of them was doing it. Anatelli, all of them was doing it. Now, Carol had a kitty cat graveyard, or that's what it looked like. She had headstones made with the kitty cat's name on it and they picture. Now, that was a lot of headstones. I know you got a cat spirit out there, girl. You got maybe, I don't know. This what Carol had, okay? We don't know what Carol doing with her cats because she ain't really caused enough stink for them to look closer. And ain't no regulation on this thing. Not really. Anyway, so, things got so bad. Like I said, he ran for president. He ran for gubernatorial. And Jeff was busy trying to make money off the business. But he couldn't really garner all the money off the business because Joe was off trying to do these other things. And one thing led to another. Jeff got pinched for they called him dragging them tigers in suitcases, them cubs in suitcases and taking them up to party with girls and things like that. And they caught him on a federal charge, right? And so he decided that one of the things he could do get off with it was use Joe. So he come back and find it out that Joe done did all of this and he ain't garnering no money, like numbers is down and all this stuff. And they go back and forth and he hollering and screaming and making sure he on camera clearing his name. Now, meanwhile, the producer that was filming all of this, once Joe found out that he was being sued and he had his nuts in a vice, he decided that this guy could work against him in Carol's favor. And the facility on the compound that they used to video, to do editing, the studio, and right next door was an alligator sanctuary. And it blew up one day. And this man lost everything. He lost all the footage. I mean, it completely blew up everything, like computers, hard drive, anything. He lost it. He lost it all. It was gone. His life's work was gone. Now, they had him there talking, smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee. And he left. He hauled off and left. He think it was Joe that did it. And I believe it was Joe that did it because Joe didn't want Carol to get a hold of none of that stuff. And so he done ran him off. Now this Jeff Lowe guy is clearing his name on camera. He clearing his name and just chewing him out. He really trying to get him to talk about what's going on. He's recording him. Admit to some things. Whatever it was he said to him off camera, just like Carol's second husband, it put a a chill down Joe Exotica's spine. He set his house in order just like Carol's husband did too. Sold some things, packed up some things, got rid of some things, did some things, and took him and his new husband and drove off into the sunset. Now he ducking and dodging and hiding, running bird phones and all this type of stuff. Cause he hiding from Jeff Lowe, cause something Jeff Lowe done told him. Well, we found out what it was. And that's the fact that Jeff Lowe knew that Joe Exotica had hired the guy he brought, the homeless guy, the one with the record and the drug problem, down there to work as a handyman. He done had Joe Exotica. Like I said, he's a con man. He's a grifter. He's grifting even the guy who's supposed to go down and kill. I think his last name was Allen. He conning him too. He know he need money. He know he need work. He know he'll do anything. And he said out of his own mouth, he's a hard worker and he's loyal. He didn't say nothing about smart. He didn't say nothing about, intuitive, genius, initiative, ambition. No. He say hard worker and he loyal. Okay. Well, Joe Exotica supposed to pay the man $10,000. He's going to pay him $5,000 up front and then $5,000 when the job was done to kill this woman. And they show him talking about it. She rides a bike every day. You should do it then. All this stuff. They got proof. They know. It could be circumstantial, but they had another guy that was there. This another misfit. He was a fat misfit and a ginger. I'm just saying. Y'all, you got to be careful. Again, no black people outside of Shaquille O'Neal who came to visit the facility. This was in the height of Joe Exotica's popularity. The height of it. Like, he had this massive business. But anyway, so eventually they hunt him down, the FBI, because they're working through this fat con artist, ginger con artist guy, and Jeff Lowe. Jeff Lowe done got in touch with the hit man, his loyal friend that works hard. He done left and went back to South Carolina because Joe Exotica only had $3,000. He took the $3,000 and went back to Carolina, and didn't try to kill nobody. Jeff Lowe done contacted him and got him to tell it all on tape. Anyway, they go and find Joe in South Florida and lock him up. They got him in jail. When I tell you he never came out, he never came out. He go to trial. Now they seize the property and dig up 5 tiger bodies. They put the tiger bodies on top of this alleged murder for hire act where Joe supposedly hired this man to murder Carol. And like I said, he went to jail and never came out. He was trying to keep a hold on to that husband, that young guy. The guy really gone on by his business. He holding on just in case Joe do get out. You know what I'm saying? He a good sugar daddy. But in the meantime, he doing whatever it is he want to do. However it is he want to do it. Okay. And Joe called him from jail. He went in jail with blonde hair. Now he got black hair and he slicking it down, still trying to look young. On the phone, he talking. They got it all recorded. And he talking about all these different things. And it comes to him while he in jail, the setup. It comes to him. The setup comes to him, which is that all that talking and all of that flashy, flossing type behavior is what let Jeff Lowe know what he was working with. Not only did he con you out of your zoo, he low-key helped you with your obsession with Carol Lampkin and kind of facilitated this conversation between you and this guy that he brought down there to be a loyal, hardworking handyman, and then had the guy admit that you paid him $3,000. Okay, because they really needed, and the federal agent said that even if he had given the guy a quarter, that would have been the solidifying of the crime. But you have instead him come and say that he did give hearsay that he gave him $3,000. Okay, and you lock it in with the 5 tiger bodies, which he had 2 guys. One was like a long hair rock and roll guy. One was like a short haired skater guy. That was the one that had the 2 amputated legs. You know, they all testified. Corey, the first husband with the tattoo, testified. Everybody testified. And the lady who had her arm ripped off, who went right back to work 2 days later, not ripped off, but mauled, and went back to work 2 or 3 days later after she had that same arm amputated, said it best. Everybody's acting like they care about the animals, but here is proof that it was everything going on but the care for the animals. Anything they did for the animals was just so they could make money. They showed this little snippet where Joe Exotica was in like the driest place ever. Like he was paying Carol $5,000 a month. He was trying to stay on top of everything else. And the animals were starving. The Walmart trucks had started to get real lean. They wasn't getting cows or roadkill. This is all the stuff they feed the animals, right? And you should see them lions moving like maggots. There was so many lions, the way they was moving back and forth, because this was feeding time. So they started to pace and walk. It was so many animals in that cage. It was so many tigers. It looked like the same tiger over and over and over again. I mean, they said he had over 1,200. 1,200. I mean, they showed how he was literally pulling these little baby tigers out of the mom's birth canal and just like kind of drying them off and reviving them and taking them out there to the people. He's an hour old. He's 2 weeks old. Like, why would you have a 2-hour-old cub away from their mom? But the cubs meant money. If you got a picture with the cub, the picture could have been $35 to $50. This was on top of the $300 or $33.99, whatever, $39.99 that people paid to get in per person. Like, they was making a killing. Not only that, but off buying and selling the cubs. A lot of the cubs they was buying and selling. They was selling them. He made a major living off selling not just the local tiger compounds, but worldwide. They was shipping these cubs. The husband, the one with the meth mouth, he was saying that he was driving cubs back and forth. The other one didn't. Travis, the one that shot himself, he didn't have to do a lot because he had big feet and big hands. So he didn't have to do the same amount of work and stuff that the first husband had to do. Just saying. So, yeah, it was a whole sordid mess. It was a whole sordid mess. And I think at the end of it, Joe Exotica, he went to trial. He testified for himself. He felt very, very confident. But the fact of the matter is, that it really did not matter that you tried to kill that woman. People convicted you on them 5 tiger bodies. That's what they convicted you on them 5 tiger bodies. Okay? It wasn't a problem. It was never a problem until they needed it to be a problem. Okay? And then they presented it to the public like it was a problem, like a nuisance, right? But all this other time, the sheriff already said he had a good eye on you. Just about that Waco comment. So really, these tigers' bodies should have came up a long time ago. What you was doing with buying and selling, because it in this interim, the laws was changing slowly. So it was illegal to sell. At first, it was legal to sell, and then it became illegal to sell. So they was doing it under the table. So they got him on counts for that, buying and selling. They got him on counts for killing and breeding and all of this stuff. Okay, and cherry on top, you tried to get this woman killed. Now, Carol Lampkin is happy as can be. her husband is happy as can be. And her husband was saying, you know, it's just such a relief and da 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 da. And she was saying, I guess everybody was surprised but me. I was like, oh, they're that alto tenor. Yeah, listen, there's one that sits high and looks low, Carol Lampkin. Okay, what you've done in the dark will come to the light. Now, Joe Exotica got what his just desserts, and you gonna get yours too. You are too. Now, that Jeff Lowe done decided he gonna build him another. He gonna get out from under the stigma of Joe Exotica and get rid of that land and that property, everything that man worked for, whatever. And he gonna move down to Thackerville, Oklahoma. Now, he done taught Starks. He done taught Starks in the footing the bill for the new Thackerville location. They supposed to be partners. Okay. He probably done somehow went and conned somebody into giving him this land, telling him he gonna do a conservation facility on it. Right. It's right behind the casino, 50 miles from the casino. It's going to be a beautiful compound. He brings Stark in on it like they partners. We see shortly after Joe Exotica was convicted that Starks had abandoned the whole project because he was one man out there by himself grading the land, put all his money in it, and Jeff Lowe wasn't nowhere to be found. He was a con artist. He conned him. He came in, like I said, family, no family. He recognized who Carol was. He recognized she was no different than him outside of. She wasn't breeding, but she was still making money off tigers. And she had no labor, and there was nothing to really show for what she was doing for that money. With that money, she has a large compound as well. And like I said, Joe Exotica, family, no family. Same thing. Jeff Lowe came along and he realized that here's a man who loves the spotlight. He loves attention. He loves everything about it. He's built this empire. Instead of me building my own empire, I'll steal his and set him up for the fall. And because Joe Exotica was so consumed with anger and vengeance for Carol, he fell right into Jeff Lowe's trap. He did. And Jeff Lowe ended up with everything and still ain't in jail. Nobody is in jail but Joe Exotica. And that's the show. You got to watch it. You got to watch it. See if you can see what I'm saying about Carol. Like I said, that lower register is something sinister in there. Whatever she said systematically and consistently to that second husband to get him to decide it's me or you, and I got to go, or I'm going to be dead. I believe she did it. I believe there's something real dark and evil about her. And I believe when she get a bee in her bonnet, baby, she don't sleep, okay, until it's dealt with, okay? And she used men to get what she wanted. She used that second husband to get away from that first husband. She used that third husband to cover up for the death of that second husband. Hear what I tell you? And Joe Exotic was a broken, aged gay man. And there was nothing special or unique about him, attention-wise, without those cats. He did everything he could to make himself stand out, to make himself seem young and smart and hip and cultivated. But he said he wouldn't let them boys leave the compound, his husbands, that he controlled them with money. It was low self-esteem. Low self-esteem at his finest. I mean, he seemed very demonstrative and charismatic, and the people loved him. They were tied to him. But like I said, he learned the game. He learned what made him money. He learned what kept people happy. Jeff Lowe comes along and he is able to size him completely up because this is what he does for a living. What he does for a living is find the con or find the mark, build the con, get the con set up. He got girlfriends that go along with it. They fit into it. He driving a Ferrari that he probably conned out of somebody. He seemed like he got money. He seemed like he got know-how and power and wisdom and wherewithal and intelligence and smart and go-getter. All of this is what his clothes say, and this bandana and this hat and the jewelry and the pretty girl in the car. All of this says I'm successful, and you got baby tigers too, like you feeding all the way into whatever this man considers to be something that's admirable. All the while you running a con up to the very last episode. You ran a con so cool, smooth on Starks. And Starks was the only one out of all of them that was really kind of laying low. Like I said, he ran his tiger farm like a business. He was doing shows and all that stuff. But again, he wasn't on the radar. He wasn't out here threatening folks on the internet. Okay. And Joe Exotica behavior exposed not only Antelli for having multiple wives or girlfriends and paying, they had a ex-woman that worked for him. She went when she was 18. She said she got $100 a week or something like that. One of her favorite tigers disappeared. She suspected when the tigers aged out from money-making age, they killed them. Okay, she wouldn't say it. She still wouldn't say it. Couldn't bring herself to say it. Okay, all I'm telling you is this, and I'm going to let y'all go. If any of these major players was black, none of this went down. I promise you. No. Or it would have been the black person. No, it wouldn't have went down. It wouldn't have went this far. And the reason why it wouldn't have went this far is because you find that people question melanated people more. They ask more questions. They look into a lot of the stuff that you see people getting away with in this whole story, which is a true story, by the way. They got away with it because of privilege. They got away with it because of privilege. Period. You know, like how they was moving around before a crime was even committed would have been questioned if they was a melanated person. But because they Caucasian, it was considered to be, you know, entertaining, fantastical. Like it was, you know, it's just weird. It's weird that you find a lot of melanated people that can't even be quiet because people want to know how you move, and they don't drive certain cars to work because people want to know how you afford it. They don't tell where they live because people, you know what I'm saying, or think they got money. Like, a black person would have never been able. The city would have blocked them 5 ways of Sunday from building a tiger sanctuary or sanctuary. Nah. No. 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 And you got all these women, these young girls. Like, nah. It would have had to been a lot more black people around in order for one black person to pull that off. They criminalized that a black person so fast. I'm just being honest. Y'all tell me what you think. Y'all put it down below. I don't think it would have gotten as far as it would have gone as far as it went. Had these players had been black, I think it would have been shut down from the beginning. I think the government would have been a little bit more involved. Certainly the sheriff would have been a little bit more involved in what was going on. Not even just from a human standpoint, but from the animal standpoint. Like, he had so many tigers. He always had cubs. Like, where are the young tigers? Where are the adolescent tigers? Like, nobody was asking. Nobody was filming it. Nobody was questioning that. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. Y'all tell me what you think. Put it down below. I'm sorry. You guys know I am known for my detailed reviews. So, get into it. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there with me. I really enjoyed this series. It gave me an old school, like, CBS Untold Story documentary. What's the show that where they used to use like true crime? It gave me that type of feel. Y'all tell me what you think. Tell me what y'all think about Carol. I'd love to hear what y'all think about that. Tell me what y'all think about this whole Joe Exotica character. Like, everything to me that made him special, those tigers brought that out. The Tigers were a major player, and they were the ones that, to me, came out with the short end of the stick. What y'all think about that whole Jeff Lowe character? Let me tell y'all something. Use this story as a metaphor for life. Don't be so busy. Focus on something. And you don't know that somebody got their hand in your back pocket. That you don't know that your life is being stolen and siphoned away from you. My mama say anything wrapped in flesh is liable to do anything. Okay? You always got to keep your good eye on human flesh. It just is what it is. It is what it is. You need to have temperance. You need to process. Okay? You need to watch. You need to guard yourself. But pay attention. Pay attention to how these individuals' obsessions led to not only murder, actual murder, because we don't know where Carol's second husband is, where his remains are. Now, one thing that will always come to the light is that's a body. Unless that body has been consumed. Unless that body has been broken down. Okay? Bodies always surface. Okay? If the body don't surface, the bones will surface. Promise you. The skull will surface. The jawbone will surface. It's hard to hide a body. You got to break it down and separate it and scatter it. Okay? I'm telling you now. I'm telling you. If that man was in Belize or Cuba or Costa Rica somewhere, he'd have come out by now. That man dead and gone. Trust and believe that. Dead and gone. Okay? But yeah, y'all tell me what y'all think about this whole show. Everybody's talking about it. I'm probably the only one with the hour-long video. But I know my honeybees love it. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, honeybees.